What is up, party people? How are you guys? I have a really exciting, fun, exclusive offer to share with you all. My podcast listeners are the first to hear about this new coaching program that I will be launching come April. So we are opening up a few, literally 3 early bird spots for my new one-on-one coaching program. These coaching programs will run anywhere from 3 to 6 months. You will get a weekly call with me, and this is at our early bird discounted price of $550 a month. So if this sounds like you and you are looking for more authentic types of content creation, self-development, personal awareness, any type of business development conversation, but maybe you haven't been able to put any action behind those steps, that's what my coaching program is going to be all about. I also will be incorporating a lot of the mindset practices that I talk about on the air with you all. However, it will be much more personalized into your daily routine. We will give you journal prompts, access to our course, which is an extra added bonus. I will give you those videos when it seems, appropriate throughout our coaching program, and you will be able to dive into each one of those. And then, of course, on our weekly calls, you will have access to answer and ask any of the questions that may come to mind. So if this offer sounds like you are a good fit, I want you to send me a DM on Instagram and start the DM with hashtag podcast exclusive and let me know that you are interested in inquiring on this early bird special. Come the end of April, this will be completely taken off the board with this lower pricing. So like I said, if sounds like you, if you love this show, one-on-one coaching is perfect. You also do not have to be an entrepreneur. You can either be transitioning into a next set of lifestyle, right? Or you may be in a job that you like, but you're not able to up level while you're working in that current job. So I will be able to help you get there. As you guys know, this is my jam. I want to support you all as much as I possibly can. And yeah, DM me hashtag podcast exclusive offer if you would like to get this early bird special and book a 3 to 6 month coaching package with me. Thank you guys. I can't wait to get into this week's episode. Hello, and welcome to the End in Mind podcast. I'm your host, Caitlin, the owner of Meraki Media Management. The End in Mind is a place where we come to share stories, tips, and strategies of many entrepreneurs, creatives, business owners, and just some people that aren't willing to live the traditional lifestyle. We talk about how to live outside of the box today and how to incorporate what really is important in your life to keep that end goal always in mind. Again, if you would like to reach out to me in any type of way, you can find me on Instagram at Meraki_media_management. And I hope to hear from you all soon. Thanks so much and enjoy our show. Welcome back to the End in Mind podcast. I'm your host, Caitlin. I have a wonderful guest here with me today. I'm super excited. I can tell that this, podcast episode is going to be really marketing heavy, a lot of education coming your way. So definitely sit down, maybe grab a little notebook to take some notes. I know most of you guys listen while you're on the go, but this might be an episode that you want to come back to for sure. So Tiffany, thank you so much for coming on. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about yourself before we dive into our conversation today?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. So my name is Tiffany Wynn. I am the host of the Cash In on Confidence podcast, and I am a network marketing coach. And so I help people in network marketing really be able to up-level their business, take their growth to the next level through strategy, systems, and soul work that is going to help them create confidence in themselves and in their business structures so that they can really start to see progress over time with what they're doing.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. That is exactly
Yes.
what our guests are looking for, or our guests, excuse me, our listeners are
Yeah.
normally looking for, you know? So I am just so
Yeah.
excited to have you on today.
Yes, me too. I'm so excited to be here. I think that, beyond just network marketing, just
Yeah,
in business in general, that these are skills and things that you can take and apply into your business. I find myself applying some of the things that I use in my business just in life in general. So I think that these are skills that really everyone can benefit from.
totally. I could not agree more. That's like what I talk about a lot on this show. It's kind of like when you become an entrepreneur, and even if you're in network marketing, you are an entrepreneur. You're paving
Exactly.
your own way, right? So it
For
ends up
sure.
incorporating your life, your lifestyle, it all becomes one, very quickly.
Absolutely. Yeah, I talk a lot about that and how your business and your life becomes sort of this immersion. And I think a lot of
Mhm.
times people want to try to keep them separate, especially when you are building an online business specifically. You really want to have like this life that you're living and then this business that you're growing and running. When really, I think that when you put them together and you find this beautiful harmony between them. I really struggle with the word balance because I don't
Mhm.
feel like there is this elusive balance that you're ever going to achieve between the two of these things. But when you can find a harmony between them where they're working together really beautifully and you can start to implement structures into your business that are going to then benefit your life with the way you
Yeah.
run things, it just creates this just beautiful structure for everything. And it really allows you to build something that feels so good. And that is just one of the things that I am super passionate about is helping people build businesses that feel good. I see
Mm.
so often people that are building businesses and it feels heavy for them. It
Yeah.
feels like very much this stressful, overwhelming thing when I don't think it really has to be that way. Like you can really make a business that you wake up excited for, that you have, these things that you're doing in your business that really align with your life. And it doesn't have to feel
Mhm.
like you're tugging between your life and your business and you're pulling away from your business when you're, living your life and you're pulling away from your life when you're working your business. Like, let's combine them and let's just make it this beautiful flow of two really special things. And I just love the ability for people to be able to do that because I think it creates sustainability for
Yeah.
your business.
Oh my gosh, so beautifully said. I was taking some notes myself while you were talking because I think you just have so many great nuggets of knowledge in here. Like, I love the harmony, not balance. I resonate with that deeply, like throughout my process with the end in mind. We've been sharing a lot of my holistic journey as well. And trying to find some sort of harmony within my own brain, dealing with different types of childhood things that come up when you launch a business and limiting beliefs that arise. And I love that you said to make it feel good because that was like certain things I kind of had to turn around and look at in my past, address them so that I could feel good in my business, and
For
even
sure.
now it's definitely difficult to figure out. But as I've gone through this process, I actually just launched an episode that will be coming out this Wednesday. So you guys are getting us on March 21st. And I'm going to be offering a coaching opportunity through the podcast first. And that was so in alignment. Like I started to realize through my holistic journey how many people I was impacting indirectly, like my boyfriend, my mom, my friends. And then I was
Yes.
like, wow, like this could be so much more in alignment for where I want to go in life. Not that I don't love social media and I won't keep that side of my business since it's something I feel like I can really pack a punch with, but it might kind of come to a point where that can run on its own. I still have my amazing clients, I meet with them. And then the coaching could just be another extra add on that would like feel so in alignment for me. So I love that you said that, so on point for like our topic.
Yeah. That is just absolutely amazing. And I think that that is something that's so important for people to really grasp onto, that you're going to have ebbs and flows in your business and things are going to shift and change as you shift and change. Like, I think
Yeah.
one of the very most important pieces of building a business is you, right? Like when
Mm,
you are building a business, you are the core of that business. And I think a lot of times people are so focused on growing the business that they don't look at growing themselves.
yeah.
And I always say that, like, you are the cap of your business, like you are the lid on how much your business is going to grow. So if
Yeah.
you are not growing, then your business isn't going to be growing either. And eventually you're going to hit the top of that lid and you're going to be wondering why your business isn't growing anymore, why you feel stuck, why things don't feel right anymore. And it's really time to look at yourself. And so I love
Yeah.
that you have taken this holistic approach to things, because I think that's so important for people to really realize the connection between your growth and development and how you are feeling and how you are structuring yourself and your life, both internally and externally, and how
Yeah.
that is going to absolutely play a role in your business. And it is okay if you, as you start to grow and shift, and like you said, uncover some of the past traumas that you may have dealt with in the past. I think a lot of times people don't realize that sometimes the experiences that you have had in your past as a child, the belief
Yeah.
systems that you've picked up because of things that you've gone through, what society has said, all these different things, those play a role in your business. Like
Totally.
your limiting beliefs and what you believe because of your experiences growing up are going to absolutely play a role in your business. Like for me, I grew up with two parents that are entrepreneurs also.
Love
And
it.
so I have, this belief system from day one that I knew that I wanted to be able to be an entrepreneur as well, because I
Mm,
saw what that looked like for my parents, and seeing my mom be able to come to my class parties, being able
yeah.
to bring me lunch in the middle of the day at school. Like they were able to be at like all of my events and all of those things because they had that freedom and flexibility through their business. And so that
Mm,
was a belief. And so that was a positive belief that I picked up as a child. But there are also other things that you experience as a child that are playing, I wouldn't necessarily say a negative role all the time, but it's definitely creating this impact in your business that is either going to end up creating roadblocks for you. It's going to end up
totally.
creating, limits and all of these different things. So like, for example, I used to believe that building a business was going to require so much hard work and hustle. And
Love
so
this.
I used to think that in order to be successful in my business, I needed to be working all the time. And I used to
Yeah.
feel guilty for taking any time away from working my business. And that was
Yeah.
a belief that I picked up from society, right? Like I didn't see that with my parents. My parents were not that kind of entrepreneur. They were the kind of entrepreneur that worked, during the day. But then when it was time to turn it off, like my dad was at the dinner table with us. He wasn't like still in his office working and, all of those things. But society and what I saw on TV and what I saw in media made me think that working tirelessly was what brought success. And that's
Yeah.
what brought, the quote unquote American dream. And then
Yes.
so I felt so just tied to this hustle culture. And it pulled so much away from me and my family,
Yeah.
in the beginning. And I just had this like this big wake up moment where I was like, that is not my truth. Like that is not a
Yeah.
belief that I want to subscribe to any longer. Like I believe that I can have a really successful and thriving business that I pour my heart and soul into, but at the same time, it is okay for me to take rest. It is okay
Yeah.
for me to put my time and energy in other places. Like I don't need to be doing productive things in my business all the time in order to create success. And I talk a lot about how I really believe that it's quality over quantity in your business.
Yeah.
It's not how much you are doing in your business, it's the quality of the things that you're doing in your business. And sometimes,
Yes.
like you were saying before, you can be doing activities that are going to pack a punch for your business that don't require you to be doing it constantly, so like you were saying with social media, like I used to feel like if I wasn't on my social media every single day, that like, oh no, my business is going to come crumbling down now. But
Yeah.
now I show up on social media when it feels good, when I have something juicy to add, some really good value to share.
Mm,
That's when I'm going to show up on social media. But I'm not just posting just to post because I feel like I need to be on my social media all the time. Like I am
totally.
there when I have something really powerful to share.
Yes. Oh my gosh. This is so great. I want to come back to this hustle culture mentality because this is something I see everywhere. And I saw your reel about how you were debunking some really great limiting beliefs that just come out of entrepreneurship community in general. Like when I
Yeah.
first entered this space, that's exactly how I felt. I actually launched a campaign for a nonprofit locally that took their Instagram following from 18,000 followers to 500,000 followers in under a month at my first
Amazing.
position while I was working there. And it took over my life, like while we were launching this campaign, I was on social from sunup to sundown. I actually even just shared on another podcast I was on. I would come home and like throw my phone at my boyfriend, like, please help me. I'm drowning. It was hurting my mental health, so many things. And that's why I'm such a big advocate for finding balance on social. And that's actually how I follow my intuitive, trusting myself that I can intuitively write content however it feels good for me. And that's how I coach my clients as well with social. It's less about the more content, it's more about that free value and what they care about, what they can be promoting. Of course, staying consistent. And I love that you said, like, you found a good spot for you. And that's what works. That's when you're going to have fun, which you mentioned in the beginning, which is so important when you're first launching a business. Even recently, as I was trying to figure out this coaching, I had fell out of love with the social media. Like it was hard for me to get on board. So I ended up hiring a copywriter. She's super passionate. She's amazing. She's in Alabama. I'm in Philly. So she can add, different types of rhetoric that maybe I wouldn't think about. And she's just so talented. But it had pushed me to that level, like I had to get there first for me to take a look at the business and say, how can I start to change this?
Yeah. Yeah. I love that so much. And I think that having that awareness is so powerful. I think a lot of times because of the noise that you're seeing on social
Mm,
media, and you're getting this these voices from so many different places, and one person is telling you that you need to be doing this, and another person is
mm,
telling you that you need to be doing that, and someone else is telling you that you're supposed to be doing this, and you're like, okay, so what do I need to really be doing? Right. And so
yeah.
you get confused, and then you get overwhelmed, and then because you're overwhelmed, you end up doing nothing, or like you said, like you were saying, you end up trying all of it, and then you burn out after a little bit because you're like, I can't keep this up. So I think finding structures for your business, finding systems for your business that are sustainable
Yeah.
is so undervalued in this space. Like I'll see people, and I know reels, like I get it. Like I know reels are valuable. I know that they can really bring a lot of impact for your, social media, for your business, whatever. But when I see people saying like, you need to be doing reels, like you have to be
Yeah.
on reels in order to be successful. Like if you want to grow your account, reels is where it's at. Like that to me, I see that, and I'm just thinking about that poor person who is reading that and feeling like they're never going to be successful because
Yeah.
they don't have the sustainability yet to be posting 2 reels a
Yeah.
day. And they're
Right.
like,
Like
oh
they're
my
working.
gosh.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And now that poor person is like, oh my gosh, my poor business is never going to grow because I forgot to post a reel today, or
Yeah.
I didn't have time to post my reel. I'm supposed to be posting, a reel or two a day for 30 days, and that's going to make my business explode. And so they're hearing all of these different things from all of these different places. And like you said, the most important piece is finding what works for you. What
Yeah.
is going to be sustainable for you? What are you going to be able to do consistently? And
Yeah.
that is what is going to make your business successful. When
Yeah.
you're the one that can show up, when you're able to actually do the activity long term, and it's not something that you're doing for 30 days and then you burn out and you don't do anything for the next 2 weeks because you're so exhausted and just overwhelmed and you don't know what you want to do next. Like, I am all for taking a break when you need it. I am all
Yeah.
for like doing the minimum if that is all you are able to do. Like, I just so believe that long-term consistency is what's going to win, and that is
Yeah.
what is going to really create the impact. And it's not these like just little short bursts of things that you're trying randomly here and there, because that isn't really going to
Yes.
bring the value, you know?
Oh my gosh, I love that you said that because so many of our clients, for the listeners as well, like I think that we would probably have similar clients, coming from that same
Yeah.
background with these beliefs. And that's exactly what they come to us and they'll most of the time say exactly that, like I posted once and it felt really good one week, but now I can't come up with anything the next week, or my dog got sick or my kid got sick and something came up. And then as a coach, it's not to break that person down, like, and explain to them, oh my gosh, you're never going to be successful. How you said with some of these coaches in the online space, it's actually the complete opposite. Like giving them the confidence that it can be different for them. Like maybe they're actually going to grow their business through local networking. That's how I grew most of my business before I was, like larger
Absolutely.
following on social. And we
For
just build it up
sure.
slowly. And it was actually so fun. I've gone back to local networking recently because I just love my community. Like I'm from right outside of Philadelphia. We get along, like a lot of business owners will come out to local networking and it's face to face. So it's kind of fun to be social again, after like the last 2 years
Yes.
of
Yes,
craziness.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's so true. And I love that. And I love that you are talking about how it doesn't have to look the same for every
Yeah.
person. Like it can look different for you, and that is okay. And, I love talking about confidence. And I think that when you give people permission to know that it is okay to go against the grain,
Yeah.
to follow their own path, that if they feel good about that, that is going to bring them so much more success than trying to follow someone else's path that feels inauthentic to them, that
Yeah.
doesn't feel aligned to them. Like, even if that person is the most successful person if you're following what they're doing and it doesn't feel good to you, it doesn't feel authentic, it doesn't feel sustainable, it doesn't feel right, you're not going to get the same results that that person just got. So
Yes.
you need to be doing what it works for you. Like you saying, showing up in person felt good for you. So I can imagine that when you were doing that, you had so much more confidence in that space than
Yeah.
if someone were to tell you, like, hey, Caitlin, you need to go get on TikTok and,
Yeah.
you need to post on TikTok 3 times a day in order to be
Right.
successful. You would have not had confidence around that because it wouldn't have felt right for you. It wouldn't have felt good. It wouldn't have felt authentic for you. But
Yeah.
you followed what felt good for you. And so you were able to build that confidence. I always talk about how confidence is just an exchange of, that sales is just an exchange of confidence,
Love that.
right? So what you're doing when you are selling is you are giving your confidence in whatever it is that you are selling, your product, your offer, whatever it is, your service. You're just trading your confidence in that thing for
Yeah.
someone else's.
Yeah.
Right. And so they want to see your confidence in what it is that you are offering. They want to see your confidence in what it is that you are selling. What problem are you solving for that person?
Yeah.
And if you can get them to believe with confidence that you have the solution to their problem, people will hand you over all of their money when you
Yeah.
are giving them the confidence to believe that you have the solution to their problem. But if you're doing it in a way that doesn't feel good for you, then you're not going to be showing up with confidence in that, right? But
Yeah.
because you were able to show up in a place that felt good and you felt really confident in it, that's what attracted that network for you, right?
Yeah.
Because you had the confidence. And so the people that were in that space were like, give me some of your confidence, Caitlin. Like, that's what I
Yeah.
need. And so they grasped onto that, and I think that
Totally.
if we were really just able to have that permission slip to be like, okay, like I can go do this in the way that feels best for me, so many more people would just start to see their businesses completely shift and change and
Yeah.
skyrocket because they're going to start to show up with that confidence.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It's so beautifully said. Like, we talk a lot about energy on my podcast as well. And, like, even communication is just a form of energy. And confidence is probably one of the most powerful forms of energy that we can offer as entrepreneurs. And I love that you said sales is just an exchange of confidence. That really resonates with me. Like, if you know what you're talking about, and you're passionate about it and you can articulate it in a way that it comes across as confident, you've landed the sale. Doesn't matter if you're selling a pen, Starbucks, whatever it may
Right.
be, you are winning,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. 1000%. And that's why I think like people are like, oh, like I'm so nervous about my pricing of my product or my offer or whatever. But what if you can feel confident that that pricing is going to be something that you're going to be able to provide the value behind that price point, people will pay anything. Like there are people who are paying all kinds of money for handbags and shoes and clothes and all of those things. But the reason that they do it is because of the confidence. They feel like when they hand over that money to get that
Mm,
handbag, to get those pairs of shoes or whatever, they are going to put that handbag on and it's going to give them confidence. It's going to make them
yeah.
feel good. They're going to have some kind of valuable exchange. And so I think it's the same thing for us in what we have to offer. If we can make
Yeah.
someone feel like when they hand over their money to us, that what they're getting in return is going to make them feel good, going to solve their problem, going to make them more whatever, right? It's going to benefit them in some way and it's going to get them to whatever point that they want to get to, they're going to
Yeah.
hand you over any amount of money. But the
Yeah.
difference is your confidence, right? You have to make them feel confident, right? These big brands that are spending and, giving, pricing their products at these outrageous price points, the reason that they do it is because they're confident that people are going to pay them that, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't see, and like these big brands normally don't even have like commercials for their
Yeah.
things. Like I've
Yeah.
never seen a Gucci commercial or a like, like I've never seen an Aston Martin commercial on TV.
Yeah.
But these cars, these products, whatever, that have these outrageous price points, their confidence that someone is going to pay them that money for that thing is so high that they know that someone is going to come and hand over the money for it, And
Yeah.
so they are like, take it or leave it. This is the price. If you want it, that's what you're going to pay. And so if
Yeah.
you show up in your business with that level of confidence around your product, around your service, what you're offering, no matter what the price point is, if you are confident with it, then like people will pay you.
Hey, do you have an idea for a podcast but don't know where to start? Or do you have an already existing podcast that you want to take to the next level? Well, check out WeKnowPodcasting.com. From concept development to theme music to editing to logos, WeKnowPodcasting.com is a one-stop shop for all things pod. Don't hesitate to hit us up. We're very nice.
And this is so great because I think it links back to something that you mentioned earlier about the limiting beliefs. And it's difficult to find confidence at times. Everybody's different, like real, authentic confidence. I actually shared an episode not too long ago where I talked about like this mask that I used to have on because it was fake confidence, like I
Yep.
thought that I had
Fake
to
it till
fake
you
it
make
till I
it.
made it. Yeah. And you
Yes, I
put
talk
that
about
out on
that
your
so
reel.
much. True. Yes.
Yes.
I hate that.
I know. It's the worst lesson. Like
It's the worst.
it's not true. And it actually makes you feel even more imposter syndrome when you
Yes.
do that,
Yes. Yes.
and you feel
So
worse about
true.
yourself because you feel icky. And when you're a person like, Tiffany or I, and I'm sure all of the listeners feel the same way, that operates in full integrity, it actually, or if you're like empathic, at all, it makes you feel even more disgusting because you feel like you're not being honest. And then finally during 2020, I lost all my clients. Shit hit the fan. I was like, okay, I'm just going to dig into myself, because what I was doing before didn't totally feel good because I would still have clients, even in a global pandemic, if that was the fact.
Right.
And I just
Right.
dug in and I started to do my spiritual journey, and it completely shifted everything. The business is flourishing now. We're in a completely different space than we were 2 years ago. But I think that really resonates because it's hard to find that confidence if you have those limiting beliefs. And, like the End in Mind has tons of different types of people that you can work with that we've interviewed in the past if you're struggling with this. Or of course, you can always reach out to Tiffany or I, and we will be able to support you guys because you do need support when you're going through this. You need somebody in your court that's like,
For
hell yeah,
sure.
you can do this, like
Absolutely.
they almost have
Absolutely.
to feed the confidence. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I talk about imposter syndrome so much because it's something that I personally struggled with as well.
Yeah.
And when I first got started in network marketing in this industry, that was like one of the biggest lessons. And I say that with air quotes because in reality, it wasn't really a lesson. It was actually something that didn't add any, value to my business. But the fake it till you make it was like literally one of the things that we were taught to do. It was like an actual phrase that would come out of the mouths of the leaders, and they would just be like, fake it till you make it. Like, you don't have to know all the things, you don't have to be able to do the stuff, like just fake it till you make it. And I get the sentiment behind it. It's
Sure.
basically telling you like you don't have to have it all together to get started. But at the same time, hearing that fake it till you make it is just it brings up so much inauthentic, lessons. You are out here being this person that you're not because you feel like that is the thing that you need to do to be successful. And it is just, like you said, it makes you feel icky. You feel fake. You feel like a fraud. You're going to feel that imposter syndrome. Like, and the thing is, you don't have to be fake to be successful. Like, you have everything you need to be successful as you already are. And then you get to grow within yourself as you go, right? So like the Tiffany that started my business 7 years ago is not the Tiffany that's sitting here right now. I was able to grow as I went on this journey. And I'm sure that the Tiffany that's sitting here right now is not going to be the same Tiffany in a year or two from now. Like, I get to grow, but that doesn't mean that me right now I don't have what it takes to show up as I am in the moment. And so when you are able to accept that you are able to show up exactly as you already are, then that is when the confidence explodes, because you know that you're not waiting to get to this certain point to start feeling confident, right? Like, you're not waiting until you are making this much money in your business to feel confident. You're not waiting until you have this many clients to feel confident. You're not waiting until you have this whatever, right? You've lost the weight, you've done the thing, you've whatever, like, people have all of these made up limits that we place on ourselves. And we're like, well, when I have this, then I'll feel better about my business, or then I'll start to do this, or then I'll do that. Like, no, do it right now, because you are already good enough. And I like to say, instead of fake it till you make it, I'd like to say faith it till you make it. So like, having the faith right now that you already have everything you need, that you already have what it takes for you to get to the next level. It's not about you needing to be fake and pretending to be this thing that you're not in order to make it. It's about having the faith to know that you are already exactly where you're supposed to be and doing exactly the things that you need to do in order to make it. It's having that faith that any lack that you might have as a human is going to be closed up by the powers above us. Like, it's not up to you. It's
Yeah.
not up to you to do it all. And there's going to be grace given to you. Like, you're going to have grace in your business. And so when I realized that, it lifted so much freedom off of me in my
Yeah.
business, because I realized that, like, I can make mistakes in my business, and that's okay. I don't have to be this
Yeah.
perfect person, and that's okay. I get to be confident exactly as I am right now. And any mistakes I make, I get to learn from them. I get to grow from them, but I still get to show up with confidence, you
Yes.
know?
Oh my gosh. Giving myself grace. This is something that we've talked about
Yes.
before on the show. So this is like amazing that you're bringing this up, and the faith it till you make it. I love that. That is like so
Yeah.
great. And one of my coaching clients, one of my first coaching clients ever, she was actually saying, like, she's been looking at some context in her life to also show her, like, even though maybe she got up out of bed 5 minutes earlier or remember to brush her teeth before bed, like something so small, a small habit, giving yourself that credit and showing yourself that you can get better every day, giving yourself grace, maybe the days that you feel like you can't get out of bed, because that's where we all are at times,
Right. Yes.
I love that you said
Yes.
that, because it's the
Yeah.
perfectionism that will hold us back. The grace
Absolutely.
is what will fuel our
Yeah,
fire.
exactly. And it's that perfectionism that keeps you from feeling confident. You feel like you have to be, like, we have this made up idea of who we're supposed to be in order
Mm,
to achieve these things. And I know with social media being, so big, you see other people on your social media that you feel like you need to be like this person in order to be successful, that you need to be doing the things that they're doing. You need to have the
yeah.
things that they have. You need to be doing all these things. And then you start to doubt yourself and you start to feel insecurity about who you are and if you're good enough and if you have what it takes. When in reality, we need to be just looking directly at ourselves and being like, I do. Like, I am exactly who I need to be in order to build this business to exactly the place that I want to build it right
Yes.
now already. And I get to continue to grow as my business grows. Like, I get to grow with my business. But right now, I can show up with confidence today, knowing that I get to be 1% better every day. That's what I say.
Yeah.
I get 1% better every day, because when you look at that over time, that 1% adds up. Right. And so
Yeah.
I think a lot of times we feel like we have to have this, like, complete overall life-changing shift in order to
Yeah.
be successful. And we're like, oh my gosh, I messed up today because I didn't eat the healthy food and do the workout and do this and do that.
Yeah.
And we feel like it has to be this, like, overall life change in one day. And it's like
Yeah.
so much. Give yourself some grace. Just, what is the one thing today that you can do better than you did yesterday? And then the next day,
Yes.
what is one thing you can do better than you did the day before? And if you just keep that mindset over time, you're going to look back and be like, whoa, I have grown so much from just looking at that one small thing that I improved on every single day.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That's so well said. And I love that you brought up the social media side of things as well, because that is really so difficult for us as entrepreneurs. Like, that's what I would say I fell into a lot, and what of my clients fall into a lot. And I want to share this too, because I frequently say our ideal clients are past versions of ourselves. I actually picked that up from another Tiffany podcaster that I listened to. And I
Yeah.
think that that can be stress to teach you too, like our listeners. Like, you can just teach your clients one or two things that may change their life because you're only a few steps ahead of them, but that's going to impact them so much more. And when you take that pressure off and give yourself some grace, even if it is just a few nuggets of knowledge, you're still impacting them. And that's actually what they're paying you for most of the time, even if you have a product-based service.
5,000%.
Yeah.
Yep. I love that. And that's something that I have picked up on too, you know, that who you are trying to help is someone who is just 2-3 steps behind where you are. And you to them are an expert. You to that person, they need what you have to offer. And even though you might not be the person that's 15 steps ahead, sometimes that person can't help the person that's way back there because they just need some small steps of growth. You know, there have been times where I have worked with people who were way far behind me, and there was such a huge gap that they needed way more than what I was giving them because they needed to go way back, right? I needed to go way back to meet them where they were, and vice versa. There's been times where I have worked with coaches where I felt like they were so far ahead of me because I was like, oh, they're going to get me there. But then working with them, I'm like, whoa, like this was a lot and probably more than I was ready for because there's a lot of missing pieces to this that I am like gaps that I haven't filled yet, you know? So if you just focus on the person who just needs the few things that you have to give them, the few lessons, like what I always say to look at where you were and what were the things that you did to get yourself to where you are now. You know, what were the lessons? What were the skills? What were the steps that you took to just improve yourself a little bit more? And that's what you want to focus on sharing with those people so that they can then close that gap and get to where you are. And by that time, if like I was saying before, you were continuing to work on yourself, you have been a few steps ahead of that now too. Right. And so you can always grow. And there have been times, and I think a lot of times too, especially like as coaches in the coaching industry, a lot of people feel like they're afraid to step out into this space. They're afraid to start sharing themselves boldly because they're afraid that they're not going to be enough for that client. And they're also afraid, you know, like they're like, oh, I'm not going to be able to give them enough. And then they're afraid that maybe that person is going to surpass them. I love it when my clients surpass me. I love it because you know what that tells me? It tells me that what I gave them worked and that they needed what I had to offer. And so I think of it this way. If I kept my mouth shut and I wasn't sharing the things that I was sharing, that person would have never gotten to where they were. Right. And so if I can get my clients to go even further than I am, then I am doing my job. You know, I am doing what I need to be doing. And don't be afraid of showing up because you feel like you don't have enough to offer.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was so beautiful. I love that you said, I love when my clients surpass me. When I was actually, I've shared this story before on the show. When I was working with a therapist of mine, that was one of the things that she said to me before we started working together. And that's when I knew I was supposed to work with her, you know, because I was like, good, you know, she's going to give me what I need and she'll tell me when it's okay and when it's time for me to move on, you know, and she and I now.
Exactly.
You know, have finished our time together. And now I'm working with another coach who's giving me different tools. And that's what coaching is about, you know, therapy, coaching, whatever you want to call it, however you're bettering yourself. And that's the type of people like Tiffany is the perfect coach. Like if you guys are looking for a coach right now in this space of marketing, network marketing, entrepreneurship, she has so much to offer. And she's telling you it's a good thing when you surpass her. That's the perfect coach, you know. You want someone to say that to you.
Yeah. Because that means that the tools that I have given you have worked for you. And that is exactly what I want as a coach. I want you to get the tools that I have to offer and for you to be able to apply them to the next level. And I always say, like how you talked about the toolbox, I always say that like we all have this toolbox and you're going to
Yeah.
get different tools from different places. And sometimes
Yeah.
you're going to get a tool that maybe you don't need right now, but you
Mm.
might be able to use that tool later to fix something else that pops up and you're like, oh my gosh, I remember I grabbed this tool when I was working
Mm.
with so and so, and I can use this tool now to fix this area, right? And so
Yeah.
you're going to get all of these different tools. And as you grow, as you work with different coaches, as you consume content from all of these different people, hopefully you're getting different little nuggets that you can put
Mm.
inside of your toolbox. So that way, as you go, you're going to have tools to fix whatever you need in your business. And when
Yeah.
you have a toolbox that is full of a variety of different things, then you're going to be someone that no matter what level you are at in your business, you have what you need to move past that level. I think a lot of people
Yeah.
get stuck at where they're at because they don't have the tool to fix what it is that is causing the problem for where they're
Yeah.
at that level. And I always say that like
Mm.
new levels is going to require new skill sets from you. Like the
Totally.
Tiffany with my business 2 years ago, I needed different tools in my business than what I need now. I've had to
Yeah.
continue to grow. And I think a lot of time we think that you hit this cap at some point, you hit this, or the cap comes off at some point and you're able to just fly and go and it's all going to be beautiful and you're never going to have any issues again and you're making all the money and you're helping all the people and you're doing all the things. But that's just not the case. You're always, every level that you hit, something's going to come up and you're going to need to pull out a tool from that toolbox to help you
Yeah.
move past that level, right? And sometimes you're going to need to use the tool more than once at different
Yeah.
levels. But if you have a toolbox full of a variety of tools, then that is what is going to help you continue to move as you're growing in your business and avoid you from getting stuck at these different places.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. I love the toolbox analogy that you're giving because it's also different tools that you'll pick up. Like if you're going through this process with a best friend who's also starting a business, they're going to have different tools than you're going to have. Even if you're consuming the exact same content, what your best friend might need is a little bit different from what you might need as an entrepreneur because each of us have our own limiting beliefs. We're our own human being. That's what makes you so powerful because you're showing up as you and you're going to be different from your best friend, even if she's doing the exact same business, just because of exactly that. And I just think that's a perfect analogy for our listeners as well, because you don't have to take in all of the content. You just have to take in what's working for you and what will help you reach
Yep.
that next level. Like for me, a lot of it was this holistic journey. And I had to really stress to myself that I wasn't an end goal, like even the end in mind is still this obsolete thing, but you at least have an idea of maybe where you want to go in life, because that's also important.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not like stuck to it, like you're clinging, white knuckle
Right.
clinging to it, because it might change as
Right.
you grow. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think, the end in mind is still important because right now, if you don't have a destination in mind for
Yeah.
where you want to go, then how do you know what you need to be doing to get there?
Yeah.
If you don't know like where you really want to be. And so right now, if I say like, here's my end goal for where I'm at right now, like you're going to get to that destination. Hopefully you're going to navigate your way there and you're going to get there. And then you're going to be like, okay, how do I feel here? Is this good? Do I want to hang out here for a little bit? Or is there another place that I want to go? So I think the end can be this continuous thing. It doesn't mean like you stop, right? You're not like there and you stop and you're stuck there. It's the end of this phase, So like in
Mm,
this phase of where I'm at, what is my end goal for this phase? Where do I want to go? Like and I always ask my clients that I work with that, like at the end of when we work together, where do you want to be? Where do you want to be
mm,
at the end of this phase of you working with me? Okay, so now we know where you want to go. Let's create the roadmap to get you there. But when we're
yeah.
done working together and we've gotten you to that destination. That doesn't mean I want you to stop there and stay there forever,
Yeah.
but I needed to know where you wanted to get to in order to help you create the roadmap to actually get you there, to help give you the turn by turn, the step by step to get to that place. And so when I think of the end in mind, and I'm like talking about your name here,
No,
but
please
when
do.
I
This is
think of it, when I think of that, I think of it being like the end of this phase, the end in mind of where you're trying to get to in this particular moment, and not necessarily like the end all be all,
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that because it's like, and I'm sure that you can resonate with this too. When I came up with the name, I hated how many coaches were talking about goal setting because when I, as a
Mm-hmm.
perfectionist, wouldn't reach those goals, it would cause me
Yes,
a downward spiral. And then it would sometimes take me months to get out of it, like
for
time that
sure.
was wasted instead of me just
Absolutely.
looking at that overall picture of like maybe who I just
Yep.
wanted to be at the end of the coaching that I was going through. Because all the coaches that I used to work with at the beginning of, my 3-month or 3-year experience, I'm sure 7 years, you can definitely resonate with
Yeah.
this because
Oh,
it
for
was so
sure.
masculine, revenue, numbers,
Yep.
how many people are you having come
Yep.
in, like
Yep.
even the followers. It was all so stressful. And at one point, that was how I
Yep.
coached people. And I hated it.
Yep.
Like, I don't believe that followers
Yes.
are your, end all be all by any means. It's all about your self
Exactly.
worth, like that's what it comes down to.
Exactly. And oh my gosh, I love that so much. And I talk about that a lot. And I talk about how instead of really creating these goals, like create intentions,
Yeah.
So it's not
Yeah.
necessarily like this goal of like, I want to be making, $10,000 a month, and when someone tells me that, I want them to dig deeper and figure out why. Like,
Yeah.
what does that mean? Because a lot of the time, it's not the money that they really want. I would venture to say like 95% of the time, it is because of what that is going to mean for them. It is
Yeah.
because of what that signifies for them.
Yeah.
And so a lot of time people come to me with these made up numbers that they want to achieve, these made up goals that they want to have because that's what they see other people doing, or that's what they think
Yeah.
is going to be the quote unquote success that is going to give them this like feeling of like, oh, I've made it. I'm successful now because I made $10,000 in a month.
Right.
When really it's just like, but why? Like, why is that
Yeah.
your idea of success? What does that $10,000 really signify for you? And so for a lot of people, when we start digging into that, they're like, because they've never thought about it, they've never
Yeah.
thought about it. And so I'm like, well, let's create intentions instead. What are your intentions? Because the intentions are going to lead you to the goal, but you're not focused on this elusive goal that you've made up. Now you're focused on what that goal is going to actually bring you, so if
Yeah.
your goal is the $10,000 a month, what intentions do you need to have to get there? Let's focus on the
Yeah.
intentions instead.
Oh my gosh,
Is
that's
that
so
you
great.
showing up consistently? Is that you want to have more personal growth? You want to have these things. If you focus on the intentions, you're going to get to that goal. But like you said, you're not going to feel like crap if you don't get there because you've been focused on the wrong thing, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is so great. Yeah. Cause like for me, it was always safety, like having some
Mm-hmm.
sort of safety moment. And I talk about that a lot
Yes.
on the show as well. So I think that a lot of our listeners would resonate too. And it's like, what's at the crux of that belief? Like where did that
For
come from? And
sure.
then it starts to have you
Yes,
dig,
yes,
dig,
yes.
and I love that you're doing that with your clients because more coaches need to be talking about this. It's not surface level.
Absolutely.
Entrepreneurship is a
Absolutely.
journey. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
1000%. Oh my gosh, so good.
This was so fun. I had the best time.
It was so fun. I could talk to you forever.
I know. I'm so excited. And hopefully, I think I will be on Tiffany's podcast as well. So I'm going to link her show below so you guys can all contact her. Do you have any, launches or promotions that you can share with us as well on the air, just so everybody knows what's going on in your business?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have my free podcast, Cash In on Confidence, that anybody can go listen to. But I also have a podcast membership where I upload one exclusive weekly episode that is more strategy and just very specific to systems in your business, where you're going to get more of that marketing stuff that is going to help you really grow your business. But, I'm always going to bring the soul work. I'm always going to bring that mindset piece. And so I am going to show you how that applies to the strategies that you're going to be implementing. And it comes with, the accountability, the membership, so you can connect with other people in the industry. And it's just really awesome. And it's super low cost because I wanted to give something that would be available to everyone. And so it's only $17 a month. So that is, and then the VIP option is $27 a month. And that comes with one monthly live Q&A call with me where you can come ask me anything and get, on the spot coaching. So I am super excited about it. I just launched this month and it has been incredible. The results that people are getting already is mind blowing. And so I'm just so excited to continue to dive in with that and really help people just skyrocket their businesses with some really high level, high power coaching.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing. If you guys aren't a part of her community by the end of this week, you're losing out. That is awesome. I'm ready to join. I love your messaging. Yes, this was so fun.
Thank you so much.
And I just love your energy too. This was so great.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you so much for coming on.
I cannot wait to have you on my show.
Yay, I can't wait. And I'll be sharing the episodes and everything. Yes. If you guys need the links at all, I'm going to have everything in the show notes so you can learn more about this offer and get in touch with Tiffany if you have any questions. But thank you so much for coming on, and I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for listening to The End in Mind. I would like to remind you all, if you haven't yet reached out to me on Instagram, we are at Meraki_media_management. It will be in our show notes as well. If you would like to reach out to me, we always offer free coaching through Instagram based around our Instagram training and our business Instagram practices. If you need any type of support, please do not hesitate to reach out to me there. And we also offer several different types of consulting and training packages if you're looking for a little bit more in-depth tips. So thank you all for listening in, and of course, I want you all to keep the end in mind as you continue with your day and or work week. Have a great week, and I will see you all next time.